got off the chat with, I guess, YouTube to no avail. I have my live stream set up, but the notification has not gone out. Apparently, the person that I was chatting with had no idea how to make the notification go out either. They just told me, can I send you an email? Maybe the title scared them. I don't know, but they're not giving me any feedback. I'm not able to find the notification anywhere. Not even from my other alternative channel. Oh, now it wants to pop up. Okay, well, look at this. Alternative channel. Oh, now it wants to pop up. It started playing. Okay, well, look at this. Alternative channel. Oh, now it wants to pop up. It started playing. Well, look at that. Okay, well, look at this. Alternative channel. Hearing myself, somebody saying, hey, Kev. Don't know what the delay was. Don't know why it did that. If you're just joining the channel, just know I was delayed because of YouTube shenanigans. People are starting to log on now. Have no idea what that was with YouTube, but it caused some type of delay. But I'm here now. What's happening? People saying, what's really happening? Can you hear me? We got a lot to catch up now because for the last, say, about 19 minutes, I was chatting with YouTube and they had no idea why the chat wasn't showing up and the notification wasn't going out. So I'm pretty sure some intern was like, all right, we're just going to send an email to you and hopefully they'll be able to talk to you and tell you what the problem is. So I still don't know what the problem is. I just decided to go live and see what happens, and there it is. So anyway, what a crazy weekend. Absolutely. It's good to talk to you all. As you know, yesterday I was at the Trump rally when all of that went down. It was pretty incredible. I was extremely relieved to find out that President Trump was not injured seriously. Unfortunately, there were people that were. I'm going to get that gnat. The gnats are back. I'm going to get them. I tried to give real time information, and of course, I was dealing with people that were just dropping all kind of information out there. Some of it I found out was, did I get them? Did I get them? I think I might have got them, y'all. Might have got them. But some people were, giving all kind of information. And of course, you got to sift that like wheat. And I'm glad it wasn't the information the first guy gave us. But it was pretty fascinating. It was a pretty fascinating event. If anybody has any questions throughout the live chat, you can ask me. But we got a lot of information to go over. In fact, I'm probably going to have to bust this live chat up into multiple videos. And I have also segmented some of these clips into standalone videos. I recorded one that is talking about divine intervention. Boy, I tell you, it was divine intervention that took place. And we're going to be covering that tonight as well. But I've also pre-recorded some videos. So let's get into it before it gets too late. Oh, yeah. I'm glad to be here, y'all. The land of the living. Like a real cold blood. Real cold blood. Real cold blood. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now, some people said they already had a question. Feel free to type your question in the chat. Now, don't forget, check out all my alternative channels. Text MAGA to this number 330-974-4607. And check out Kevin's Corner Store. Check it out. That shirt right there is iconic. Yeah, you want to get one of those. I'm about to order my own. Fight, fight, fight. You can order one of those in Kevin's Corner Store. If you want to donate to the corner, you can do that as well. Now, guys, let's get into it. Let me make sure I missed that question. All right. I don't see it yet, so let's get into it. So anyway, was Tucker Carlson right? Did he predict what would happen? Let's check it out, guys, while I catch his nap. So here's what happened if Donald Trump dies while running in 2024 presidential election. Democrat looks to strip Secret Service protection from Trump if he's convicted. Now, why would they want to do that? Knowing that he could still become the president if he's convicted. Seemed like they were doing everything they can to make him vulnerable to something crazy. Let's continue.
It is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see.
That man cannot see. Now, listen to this weasel talking to Raggedy Patty, who's looking like, of course, the green leprechaun over here.
Public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Have to be eliminated. He's unfit. He's destructive to our democracy. That man. The pompousness of these people. I mean, to totally disregard the fact that so many millions actually support that man. And he's unfit and he has to be eliminated, not beat at the polls. No, not that. Just eliminated. Yeah, that right there sounds like you don't want no parts of democracy. That's what it sounds like. So there you have the Democrats' nasty attitude about how they feel about Trump and him being able to run and participate in our republic.
Washington Post headline screams, if Trump is convicted, Secret Service protection may be obstacle to imprisonment. I thank you for your legislation. I have been saying for some time that any former president or federal official who has this type of protection and some of the other benefits of being a former member of office, all of that should go away. Whoa. All of it, all the privileges, all the briefings, all the access should go away until your status is cleared up in the criminal justice system.
Now, it sounds to me like they were advocating, especially with Benny Johnson, the guy on that J6 committee, sounds like back then they were advocating that Trump should not have even protection because, of all of the charges that they trumped up on him. All of that stuff, hoping to get that conviction so they can go around and parade him as a convicted felon and try to justify removing his Secret Service status under that lawfare. And it seems like it's all coming to a crumble. And there's Mr. Burns himself, y'all, because when Trump was bringing stuff up like this, look what he had to say. He said Trump was just flaming the fires. And
Donald Trump said, falsely suggesting his political opponents are out to kill him.
Falsely.
Is beyond the pale and is the stuff that leads to political violence.
Is it? Beyond the pale, stuff that leads to political violence. That was Mr. Burns right there. He was saying that. And, of course, every time Trump says something, Mr. Trump is inciting violence and this and that, and he's causing hysteria, even though they will get out there and say Trump's about to become a dictator. He's taking over the whole country. He's about to be a king. He's about to destroy our whole democracy and rile up all of their voters. And Project 25 is about to be implemented, and that's come straight out of my Kampf. And all of these things that they've been saying to encourage radical believers that Trump is an existential threat to democracy, their way of life, freedom, and pretty much anything else. But now he seems to think, suggesting that perhaps the evil people who tried to impeach him twice, brought up 4 indictments on him, got a lazy bootleg conviction, tried to bankrupt him, and has called him everything under the sun, but yet aren't able to stop him, would no way progress to trying to take him out. No way they would do that. They would just stop at lawfare. They would just stop at raiding his crib. That's what they would do. However, my gut tells me these people are capable of anything. That's what my gut tells me.
Everyone who was here on January 6th should immediately see what he's doing, what Donald Trump is doing.
Well, what is it?
Using conspiracy theories to spin the hard right into a frenzy. This is how people get killed.
Really?
How the seeds of political violence are sowed.
What?
And how people lose faith in this democracy. Donald Trump has no regard for that.
What happened?
Oh, whoa. Well, look at that. Whoa. Now, that right there looks like Donald Trump might have prophesied another, occurrence correctly. Yeah, that was gunshots. That took place yesterday. And now all of these people who were saying, he's stroking the flames, he's encouraging violence and stuff. I happen to think that telling everybody that this man is Hitler might be stroking those flames and encouraging everybody. I have a tendency to think, which I'm not even going to be to get to tonight because we got some other stuff to cover. It's not Donald Trump, the one that is encouraging people to, implement political violence or even do something so drastic as what this young man attempted to do. But I think it's the left. I think it's the Democrats. I mean, when I hear Mad Max talking about that Donald Trump has the militias and all of that up in the back hills, and they are training so that they can attack cities. I think using stuff like that and saying stuff like that could encourage some people to say, well, we got to stop this guy. When you are telling folks that this man is evil and he's Hitler, everybody thinks about, wow, well, if I was in a position to stop Hitler when he was a baby, I mean, what would I have done? Now we got a real life full grown Hitler, according to the left. I mean, he's putting together militias. He got all that stuff going on. He's about to become a dictator. And did y'all know he was just anointed king? He's now the king, and he can just have folks randomly killed. Yeah, and we got to stop him or else our whole country is going to collapse. I would think language like that might just encourage somebody to do something crazy. Now, at the end of the day, I do not say that others are responsible for someone else's behavior. But I will say people are irresponsible when they go out there and they lie, not tell the truth. Not just your normal oppositional research where you're going, okay, Biden did have money coming from these people. The laptop was for real. Biden did do this, that, and that. When you come out and you just start making up stuff, that right there is malicious. Like the Asian dude, I forget his name, from California, who came out the other day and just started implying that Donald Trump was on Epstein's plane, and who knows, hanging around all those young girls. That's the type of stuff the Democrats major in. And when you go out and you push that type of hyperbole, lies, and so on and so forth, that could, unfortunately, influence someone who ain't mentally stable enough. So now here we are. The stuff that Chuck Schumer said that he's inflaming, that that's a lie. Now somebody went ahead and did it. But who is the question? I got a lot of questions.
But they're talking about things like that. These people are crazy. They are crazy.
They protested him. They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. Yeah. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously.
Now, see, here's the thing about what Tucker said. You never want to jump the gun. But I will say this. Because we have been observing a progression of attacks on Donald Trump, to whereas it is so obvious that they're not even hiding it. And we've been witnessing this year after year, attack after attack, out of desperation. And you get to a point now where it appears that all their options are exhausted. I mean, listen to what Tucker just said. Look at all those things that I'm sure at some point they're like, one of these are getting. One of these gonna get him. Don't worry, guys, we're good. Now you got a broke down candidate that many are predicting have 0% chance of winning. And you have this man who have overcome every one of those things Tucker just said. You are almost at the point where you're like, we got to do something, but how to do it? If I'm just saying, if we were to do it, how would it be done? Now, I think it's safe to say that we as conservatives, after witnessing all of those things, have a right to ask some questions, especially considering all those things they told us we were just, fanning the flames and we were conspiracy theorists and all of that. And all of those things came out to be true. Now, all of a sudden, we have an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. And I'm thinking to myself, how could this have happened? There have to be a series of anomalies and events to come together that would allow the conditions in 2024 with all of our technology to allow a 20-year-old to be able to even do this. Now, I'm not going to be naive about it and say, well, I better just wait. Nah, I don't have no right to question or use any deductive reasoning or context clues. I'm just going to sit back and go, No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask some questions, which we're going to be doing tonight as we get into this. So what's this? Interesting. So let's see. Right-wing conspiracy. All right. Well, let's see how it's going. All right. Trump targeted as assassination attempt, says he was shot in the ear at the rally. Now, wait a minute. Why is my sound out? Because Siri. That's why. You see Siri up here? Siri trying to stop me? Shut up, Siri. Go away now. So now, guys.
1 sec.
Yeah, you do that. Not 1 sec. Right now. Okay. How dare you?
Okay. I found this on the web.
I don't want
series of anomalies and events to come together that would allow the conditions and.
I tell you, man.
Didn't work. He came.
This thing is something else.
Not.
All right, here we go.
Understand this. When you come at the king, you best not miss.
Darn right. And look at that. There he is. Now, let's be honest. I'm sure all of those Democrats that rushed to the microphone or grabbed their little computer or called up their intern to say, all right, send out something to say we're very saddened by the current events and we, our hearts go out to the, and let's be clear, we condone no violence, all of that crap that we heard from, Biden, from other Democrats, including AOC. I'm sure they regrettably had to go out and send that memo out. Regrettably. Yeah, I'm sure that if you slap a lie detector on them and say, do you really feel bad that Donald Trump, survived? Didn't die rather. I guarantee you they blow the whole lie detector up. I highly doubt if any one of them that put those statements out actually wish that Donald Trump would have survived, and they're thankful. That would have been a problem solved for them. I know them watching him come down there, they're going, God dog it. We thought we had him. Ooh, this guy, he's oily. But why? Why is he able to get through all of these snares? Could it be just dumb luck or maybe even possibly divine intervention? We'll see as we go on throughout tonight's show. By the way, I did see that J.D. Vance from Ohio, baby. Yeah. Now look at that. That's how all of the Democrats feel. Right there.
Let us not resort to our baser instincts and handle this like civilized men to move on.
Yes. That would be Hunter right there.
What he said. Enough.
Yeah. Yep. That would be Biden. Talking about, I tried to call Donald yesterday. I wouldn't have taken his raggedy call. We know this guy means him no good. Okay. I wouldn't take none of their calls. Talking about something, I hope he's okay and his family and this and that. And I'm going, don't come out here trying to pretend you wish I was okay when you spent so much time demonizing me and every single voter and telling them that, I'm destroying democracy and me and my MAGA, ultra MAGA folks are the greatest threat to the homeland. What do you expect any crazy person would eventually do? These folks wanted people to believe that rhetoric, those lies. So what happens when someone believes it? And then all of a sudden now it happens and you got to try to act like you're innocent in all of this and clean up your hands and give a false statement, knowing that your heart's not in it, knowing that you would have been able to say, well, whew, that's a problem solved. I can come out and pretend to be all busted up, but the problem is solved. Trump's done. But he gave them the slip again, y'all. And I know they like, you good, Trump? I was happy to see that you had lived and everything. We cool, right? That's what I'd have gave him. We still cool, right? I mean, this ain't got to get personal, do it. That's what he would have heard right there. So I got tons of questions about how this could have happened. I was there yesterday and I'm shocked because I was checked. Seemed like everything was going well. I came in and I saw the two snipers up on top of the building. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, this should be pretty secure. So let's get into it, because some people got questions just like I do. Tons of them.
Is that the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known, high-priority vulnerability.
What?
It was identified just the day before during a security walkthrough. We've also just learned that there were 2 counter-sniper teams on site.
That's the ones
and
I
that
saw.
the counter-sniper did not need approval to shoot.
Did not need approval to shoot. So let me get this straight. The day before you walk through, you're like, all right, this building right here seems like a good place. If I was a sniper, this is the location I would get up on top of, because it gives me a direct shot at the president from here. Okay. All right. Even though it's outside of our initial perimeter that we're, checking people in. But, we should do like any good guard dog or police dog does. I saw a German Shepherd that was a policeman, it was his police dog. And the dog was trained to look at threats immediately, then also start scanning for threats that are at a distance. So he observed his owner's behavior, body language and stuff, and how he was interacting with the people in his direct facility. And then immediately he starts scanning far away. And he saw somebody way across the street at a doctor's office, and that dog just stayed there and looked at him like, who is that guy? What is he up to? He even knew that, once you know that the immediate threats are good, how about you start scanning outward? So now, all of a sudden, I'm thinking to myself, if y'all identified this as a potential threat, that building, why wasn't somebody constantly even looking at the building or surrounding the building? These are just questions I have. I'm not an expert at security. These are simply common sense questions, okay? But let's continue. Because apparently, according to her, he didn't even have to get a green light to shoot. So now that eliminates the excuse of, well, should I take the shot, or come on, give me the green light. So let's see.
One source telling NBC News that prior protocols were not followed.
This is where a lot of the questions now are centering.
Yeah, we got
what
questions.
the hell happened here with this response from law enforcement? So what you can see directly in front of you, this is a map that's been put together. You can see the stage where Donald Trump was speaking in Butler, Pennsylvania. You can also see where the Wounded Rally attendee was sitting.
Right there.
You can see behind where the law enforcement counter snipers were positioned on the rooftop. There's been a lot of discussion around the actions of those counter snipers. But then over to the left on that building rooftop was the location of the gunman's body. So there's a lot of questions here about how exactly a gunman is able to walk on to a rooftop with a direct line of sight to former President Donald Trump. He's able not only to walk onto the rooftop, he's able to get into the prone firing position and then able to squeeze off some 7 to 8 shots at the former president. Let's go and put...
Now, I got tons of questions about that. And I'm going to tell you why. First things first, look at all of the elements that have to come together to allow this to happen. Number one, you have an allegedly untrained 20-year-old that, I guess, randomly decides, I am going to go and attempt to take out the president. Now, I don't have no schematics. I'm not sure what I'm walking into. I don't know what location I need to go to. I'm just going there and winging it. I'm going to ride through and see and look around. All right, this maybe I can go up there and this and that. Now, let's just be honest. Anybody that isn't a professional, they're not going to be able to pull that off. They would go in saying, you know what? Most likely they've already scanned this whole area. What are the chances of me having an unguarded facility with a ladder behind it to where I can crawl up and have enough time to make it to the top and across the top of the building to where I can take a shot? You would have to know exactly where you're going and what's behind that building to allow you to get up there. And you would also have to assume nobody's going to stop you up to a certain point. Because for that person to stumble into that, like, wow, I cannot believe nobody's guarding this place. This is crazy. I just randomly came hoping that all of these factors would fall in place. And I've been given a gift. Nobody's here. There's no drones, no dogs, no people walking around this month. All I see is two dudes up there looking directly at the building, but I don't think they're gonna recognize me because I'm stealthy. So I'm gonna crawl up the back while all of these regular citizens are seeing me going, hey, what are you doing? Hey, look at this guy going up there. And once I get up there, I'm gonna go ahead and army crawl into position. Most people would assume, one, I'd be shot before I even get up there, or either arrested soon as I start looking suspicious walking around this joint. That building should have been secure. It's not like, look at all this space. We were out in the middle of nowhere. We weren't in the downtown Chicago. We weren't in New York. They didn't have to cover 15, 20, 30 building tops. This right here is open space. You have very few building tops to look at. And yet the obvious position or spot that if most of the people I've heard were trying to take a shot, that building, nobody was looking at it. So now all of these elements seem to come together. That guy makes it there. He's like, wow, this is strange. I mean, I guess nobody's there. Maybe the guy guarding his building went to pee. So he climbs up there and he crawls into position and then is able to rip off 7 shots. Now, when I was there, the brain is weird, you know. I mean, all I heard, we standing there, we hear, psh, 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 psh. And I see smoke shooting. And it wasn't even that far from where we at least it appeared. If I could see smoke coming from his gun, that mean that dude was close. He was close. And we're all looking like, okay, now I tried to make sense of it in my mind. I'm thinking to myself, wait, can't be fireworks. I mean, the 4th of July is over. Why would they be shooting fireworks right about now? And then it started to dawn on me, I think those are gunshots. And people delayed started to just like drop down. So now, then the question becomes, how is he able to get those shots off? Well, let's see.
Put the next graphic up, please. That is also very helpful in kind of discovering what happened here. This shows you actually on the ground image and also realizes just how close that this individual was able to get. We're talking about 130 yards that this individual is able to get from the former president in one of the most obvious and direct lines of sight. Now, there's big discussions here about the failures of the Secret Service, but I think that image actually puts everything together quite well. You can see exactly where the shooter was, you can see where the Secret Service snipers were, and you can also see where Donald Trump was there on the stage. And unfortunately, in the path of that assassin's bullet, an innocent bystander was hit in the head while he was covering his own family.
Now, I think on my last video I uploaded, I think the person that I did get a little footage on, I saw them working on someone over there. I think it might have been the gentleman who did, take a shot to the head. But this guy right here has a good point, because how could someone get that close? That's my question. It would be almost as if somebody just decided to go on a coffee break and say, hey, I'm going somewhere else. The back door will be wide open. Don't worry. I'm going to be in the bathroom. You got 5 minutes of window. It's almost as if somebody left a window open, a back door open for somebody to go in and be able to do that. I mean, this dude had no time to walk around and try to find some place. He came and he had to know exactly what building he was going to. He would have had to know exactly, I got enough time and clearance and nobody will check me or impede me. I got just enough time to get up there and do this. He would have to know that. This ain't one of those, I'm just riding around, because it was packed. You had no way of just riding around looking for a potential place. This is one of those things where you would have had to park your car somehow, somewhere, get out, walk to that building, concealing a long gun. Somehow. Concealing a long gun. And nobody even see it. And once you get to that building that you just happen to randomly run across with no surveillance, no nothing, then you go ahead and you do it. How did this happen? That's my question. It's almost as if somebody removed all of the obstacles that might just allow something like this to happen. But let's continue.
Just absolutely tragic in the results that have happened here. What I think that this image underscores most for us is the failure and some shocking questions that now have to be asked of the Secret Service and how exactly they allowed something like this to happen.
This is where the shooter is. This is where Trump is. Here's where the Secret Service snipers are. Why the hell didn't they do anything?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. You know why I was thinking that? Is because it was about, I think it took about 40 something seconds after we realized. This is just after us. We're sitting there and we noticed that their body language changed. The one dude got up in a position and the guy next to me said, man, I think looks like they're about to shoot somebody. And it was quite a bit of time that went by with this guy in the same position that he is when he took the shot. So we're all looking at them because they like in a fishbowl. They're right up there. And we're all going, why is these dudes looking like they are getting in a position to shoot someone? Now, they're watching this guy crawl across the top of the roof. We found that out later. For a minute, I'm thinking this, maybe they see a squirrel. Maybe they see something suspicious. Now we find out that they were watching this dude crawl across the top of the roof.
Why not? Doesn't make any sense. Everybody's asking the same question, like, how the hell did this happen? Really strange. So here's Trump speaking on stage. Obviously, no shots have rang out. Yet the snipers are in a ready-to-go position up top, pointing their firearms at the shooter. Why aren't they shooting? This doesn't make any sense. So you get a guy with a rifle, and he's pointing it at the presidential candidate, and you're just going to let him take a shot?
I don't understand. Look at this.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, so now, that guy didn't take the first shot because that guy lifts up off of his scope to look with his bare eyeball, and then drops back down. The first shot was by the kid. And then you hear...
And then look at the panic and the reactions here.
Look at this guy.
So you have these two snipers who are like up here, and then they kind of retreat.
Now why is he sliding back down?
Retreating, like,
what is he doing? Why is he sliding back down? They're not shooting at him. He's sliding back down. And I'm wondering, what are you doing? What's your job? What's your role? I mean, either you're the sighter or you're the second shooter. And if that's the case, you're not shooting anything. Only person shooting at this point is the guy who's trying to assassinate the president.
Almost down the building?
You can see him here.
Oh, well, look at that.
In this part, and...
well, we need to pay all these people right here. We need to pay these people because these people spotted it out. They sniffed it out early. They're all going, hey, up there. Look at that. Yeah, not too discreet, is it? Big body, dude crawling on his stomach and people yelling.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Because here's my thought. If that guy's up on the building and people are yelling, that, hey, there's a guy up there. That's just one group of people. There are multiple people who saw this guy and was yelling. Understand, for 3 to 4 minutes, people were trying to warn these folks that, hey, there's somebody up there with a gun. 3 to 4 minutes. Telling multiple people on the ground. Now, let's just go ahead and give some folks the benefit of the doubt. Here you are. You are a regular police officer on the ground. You start noticing a whole bunch of people pointing up there saying, hey, there's a guy up there. The least you can do is go, there's some people down here saying there's a person up on top of the building with a gun. You might want to alert Secret Service and tell them to, pull the president down until we find out what's going on. That's the least you could have done. And you've had 3 to 4 minutes to communicate that. Well, all the radio's down. I don't understand it. And then you move to the second group of people who could have stopped this. Actually, I say they're the first. The snipers on top of the building. Now, instead of looking, and I'm going to show you a video. This shows just how long these folks were looking at him crawl. Instead of looking at him, how about this? Hey, Frank, how about you radio in and say, we got a guy up here on this roof. Take the president down until we figure out what he's doing up there. What did you think he was doing? You thought he was a maintenance guy? Well, he's an overachiever. I came in over the weekend to finish the roof. I didn't know you guys were going to be doing a rally. Anybody up on top of that roof is a threat. They should know off grip. I shouldn't be up here. Yeah, I'm going to get myself destroyed climbing up on this building knowing that the president's right across the street. But nobody took 1 second out of all those minutes of people warning them and the Secret Service guys with the rifles looking at that dude to even radio in and say, we got suspicious behavior up here. The radio works faster than you yelling. You know what I mean? It's not like the guy was Speedy Gonzalez. This guy took forever to crawl up the building and into position as you watched him. You could have got one radio call in. One. Nothing.
That the Secret Service, who are in charge of the security for these type of political events, and because you have a former president there, didn't clear the building hours before. And even if they didn't clear the building in that period of time, why wasn't there some kind of aerial observation capability?
You're telling it's almost as if they wanted less security, less eyes on that area. It's almost as if, kind of like, you wanted something to happen. Maybe you like J6, give a lot of people the day off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The people who were responsible for security, and in this case, the people that were responsible for the Secret Service this time were people I'm pretty sure don't like Trump. Mayorkas and this lady who we're going to find out also, who I don't think she likes Trump as much either. And you look at the J6 thing and it's like, you know what? Why do we need the National Guard? We don't need them. I don't think anything's going to happen. Why do we need to bring in more security that day? In fact, give our local boys the day off, almost as if they are creating the conditions that would allow something like this to happen. That's all I'm saying. And when I hear people start bringing up some of the craziest, stupidest ideas. Man, that was all staged. Trump did this and Trump staged. He faked it. He faked his own potential success. I'm going, you are some kind of special dumb. Some kind of special dumb. You're going to overlook the group of people, powerful entities that's been going after this dude forever. You're going to overlook them and their obvious motive to allow something like this. I'm not saying they did it, but I'm saying it appears that it was allowed to happen. Maybe they put all the special Secret Service members on staff that day. We want the guys who barely passed and got out of school. You're up this weekend. Well, you know what to do. Nah, I don't know the protocol. I ain't never did this before. What about you? Well, I just started yesterday. Man, okay, well, we going to figure this out. I'm pretty sure we all figure. You ain't got no experience. Anybody got some experience? It seems like they just put together all of those dudes at one time. One time. And then say, you know what, in fact, let's go ahead and scale down. We don't want a whole bunch of them there. Let's, scale down on how many's there. And then the shooter up top with the glass eye, the one with the one eyeball and it has glaucoma, let's put him up there. We'll put that shooter up there. I'm thinking, what kind of ragtag group did y'all put together? It's almost like the ragtag group that was put together for J6 that just happened to put up no resistance to what happened. So these folks got questions, and so do I. Dan Bongino, what do you think?
Telling me the best technology you have was deployed and you missed a shooter 130 yards. Say it was 200 yards. The Secret Service CS team, Pete, the counter sniper team. The question we have to ask is, if that's the best technology we have, and we had a CS team up there with a shooter that, we're trained out to 1,000 yards in the Secret Service with the counter sniper team. How did they miss someone at most, 1/5 of the way there?
1/5 of the way there. It wasn't even like you had a lot of rooftops to scan. Even if you were scanning another rooftop, this man, you're going to see how long it took him. So now if I'm scanning rooftops, nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Who is this? What is this? So there's no excuse that, oh man, I was focused over here for 8 minutes straight. Had no idea this guy was crawling across. If you saw nothing there, how about you keep scanning? Keep scanning. And oh, look at this. Look at this. The guy's not that quick. Yeah, no, because the people were yelling for 3 to 4 minutes. Look at this person up there. So I would love to hear the excuse of anybody who has fingerprints on this. Anybody, I will go straight up the line. I'll be like, all right, whose job was it to be around the bottom of that building, considering we knew this building was a potential threat? Well, that would be me. Well, where were you? I was told by Frank to go and relieve so-and-so. Then I will go to that person. Why did you tell this person to leave the building? Oh, well, they came from so-and-so and they said they needed extra security over here. I would go to that person. I would keep going to every person to find out, why did this happen? All the way up to the guys looking at the shooter and not taking the shot. I would be going, why did you watch him for all that time? Why didn't you radio in? It almost appears as if you wanted him to get his shots off, and maybe he would already have accomplished his goal. Then you go ahead and neutralize the threat, but it would be too late then. It'd be too late because our goal and objective would have been accomplished. And now all of a sudden we'll go through some bootleg investigation for about 9 months of why this happened, how did it happen, and all of that, only to conclude, because the investigations are done by the same corrupt, evil agencies that want Trump gone, that now we're concluding that the investigation shows there was nothing there. It was just a random, all of that crap. Because you know that's what they would do. They'd feed us a bunch of shite during the investigation if they would have pulled this mess off. Yeah, stuff that we obviously say, that right there looks strange. And you're telling us that, well, that's a standard protocol to stop and look at a person crawling for about 2 or 3 minutes before you... They would try to belittle our intelligence, but it failed.
Doesn't make any sense. And even worse, it's broad daylight on a white roof.
Broad daylight. Again, what, like he had on camouflage, all white. This guy was up there with some kind of khaki or whatever. Broad daylight. What nighttime? Nothing. Broad daylight. They should be embarrassed. This is the crazy part about it. Secret Service should be going, man, I can't even, if they are legit, if the ones that had nothing to do with this, they should be furious. Furious, because it looks as if they all had something to do with this. Like they are either incompetent or they allowed it to happen. I would be going, hey man, dude, where were you at? I mean, you allowed the president to almost get killed. Matter of fact, you put me in danger because now I had to jump on top of him while they were shooting. I would be furious if I was the Secret Service.
And open questions here. Was there forward-looking infrared deployed? Was there aerial support?
Good questions.
Helicopters. The guy mentions Hawkeye on the scene. He's talking about those two, the black BDU with the tactical gear CAT element, that two-man CAT element. That stands for Counter Assault Team. That's a Secret Service Special Weapons Team, equivalent to our SWAT. So they're there. They all deployed and did what had to be done after the security failed. Oh. But having said that, there was no reason for them to have to do that.
You see that? So let me understand. The last line of defense, yeah, those guys who standing there, and the last thing they are thinking about is somebody will be able to pull off multiple shots from long distance from a rifle. When it first happened, there is no way that I was thinking that somebody was able to get rounds off from a rifle. I really thought, how in the world did somebody sneak a handgun into that facility and get that close to take shots up there on the podium? Because I'm thinking to myself, there's no way. No way that was a rifle. I mean, don't we have eyes for that? Aren't people out there looking around for folks that might be on top of things and stuff like that? When I heard he was outside the perimeter, I'm thinking, did he just walk up, outside the perimeter on a gate or something? You would have never been able to convince me that man was able to climb up on top of something and take that shot. I'm thinking he just pulled up on the street, rolled his window down, and said, I'm going to go ahead and go for it from here. Because the last thing I'm thinking is he got up on top of something? So imagine how shocked I was to find out that. And just like Dan Bongino shocked.
There's only one entity out there that saved Donald Trump's life yesterday, and it pains me to tell you guys this. And you know what that is? It's Donald Trump.
What? So even though I know it's proper for Trump to say things like, well, I want to thank the armed men and women, the brave men. Really, they had nothing to do with it. Now, granted, I do not think the people that are responsible for directly diving on him, had anything to do with that. The rounds were still firing. They didn't know if more rounds were coming or not. They just did their job. But at that moment, if Trump would have been hit, it would have been all in vain. It was too late then. You would be jumping on his body. That's it. I mean, do you understand how afraid I was when I had no idea if he was alive or dead? I mean, I'm sitting here going, oh God, man, I hope to God he is not. This country is about to go absolutely berserk. It was such a relief when I found out he was alive. But even though those guys did that, they should have never had to do it. So now all of a sudden, Trump, with divine intervention, because I'm going to upload a video that's talking about that, which I am going to touch on in a second if we can get to the material. But let's be real. Even though Trump moved, and there's an illustration to show just how crazy of a miracle this was. At the end of the day, he got to give credit to God. It wasn't man. It wasn't these folks. It wasn't their, quick thinking. It wasn't, them apprehending the person. This was straight up God.
Dig this, you assholes, and dig it good. Bond's been shot 7 times. And he ain't dead. Does that mean anything to you, huh?
What?
Bonds ain't meant to die. The only thing that could kill Bonds
is Bonds. Don't they get it? Don't the Democrats get it? Yeah. Don't these folks who I know all have been wishing evil on Trump? Let's be real. I'm not saying that the Democrats had anything to do with this, but I bet you 100% of them don't mind if it would have happened. Don't mind if it would have happened. Because they have supported every fake narrative, every fake accusation, every attack on Trump, and they've all failed. So don't they get it? Trump been indicted 4 times, impeached twice. Only thing that can stop Trump is Trump. You understand that? Now you get this. At what point do some of them say, maybe we should leave this guy alone? What are the chances of this man turning at the last second only to graze his ear? Maybe we should get the hint after all these other things failed. Maybe we should get the hint. But they won't. They won't. It's in them. It's built into them. It's greater than them.
If he moves his head an inch to the left or right, guys, this is a really different show today. But the failure here is absolutely catastrophic. And I got to tell you, the Secret Service should be very careful. I can tell you and absolutely confirm from the horse's mouth, from multiple people, not just one. And I saw Congressman Waltz text this out before on X.
What?
There have been repeated requests to increase the security footprint around not just the residences of Donald Trump, but the body itself. And they have been rebuffed. Like I said.
Oh, kind of like Nasty Pelosi, who there had been a request for more security on J6, but for some reason, she denied it. Her and Bowser. I mean, because it's a lot harder to accomplish your goal if you have more obstacles in security. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking out loud if I wanted something to go down and somebody said, well, how about I provide things that could stop that from going down? I would go, oh, no, we good. We don't need that. We're straight. And if somebody would say, hey, man, I'm worried about security. I think Trump needs more security. For what? He's good. I mean, we're short. We're understaffed. We don't have enough to spare. We're sending all of our money over to Ukraine. And we can't spare another couple secret, security.
I said, I can tell you actual quotes. The Secret Service directors completely failed and candidly should resign today.
Yeah. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This right here is a real-time depiction of how long these dudes on top of this roof was looking at the shooter. Well, let's see. Let's see just how much time they had to stop this man before he got a shot off.
Like I said, I can tell you actual quotes. The Secret Service directors completely failed and candidly should resign today.
Okay, plenty of time.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof.
Oh, look at that. Someone's on the top of the roof.
Right there. Right there, see him?
Right there, see him? That's 15 seconds. That's 15 seconds. Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Right there. See him?
He's laying down. See him?
Yeah. Laying down. See him?
And so I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure
What's happening? That should be Secret Service or local police asking these questions. Wait, what's happening? There's someone's on top of the roof. Nobody looks up but the citizens. You telling me all these cops who have one job, they're not there to watch the rally. They're not there to be watching Trump, eyeballing the folks, flirting with the women. Their whole job is to be looking for anything suspicious. But yet the citizens are the ones that's going, now wait, what's happening? Yeah, right there. You don't see him? Hey, he's right here. You don't see him crawling across the top of the roof? What were they all doing? Getting drinks? This burns me up. Burns me up. Now what? We're at 27 seconds. Oh.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, look.
Because we have millions and millions of people.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Yeah, getting up, going back down. There you go, taking this good old time.
Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have...
Right up there. He's on the roof. Right here.
It's much tougher than it happened.
He's on the back part at this point. He hasn't even made his way up to the top part to take the shot. Haven't even made his way up there.
We're the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do.
Now, this chart saved Trump's life right here. When he put that chart up and started turning to look at the chart, that right there, a slight turn like this saved his life.
You guys have access to that chart that I love so much. You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you?
If he'd have stayed right there,
teleprompters are so damn boring. I try and explain that. Oh, is it? Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time.
Look.
My guys. Take a look at that chart.
Turning ahead.
Take a look at the arrow in the bottom. See the.
Now we're at 117. We're at 117 and people still over there going, up there. He's up there. Not just them, but in other areas and locations, people are going, hey, you see that guy up there? There's a guy up on top of there telling police, telling Secret Service, there's a human up there. In fact, finally, word on the street is one of the cops actually climbed up there, but when he looked, the guy turned and pointed the gun towards him, so he dropped down. But that was at the last second, because now the guy knew, uh-oh, I got to go ahead, turn, and take my shot.
The big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services.
Now you got to figure too, during this time, those dudes are looking at him crawl across the roof, the two snipers.
Comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal.
Now notice how Trump is turning his head side to side like this. He keeps doing this. If he would have just stayed front, or if he wouldn't have been doing this on and off, it's over. Over.
Immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the
those slight tilts is what saved his life.
History of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit over.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun. Bang. 2 minutes and 1 second. 2 minutes and 1 second. So now if we can't contribute Trump surviving that to Trump just having cat-like reflexes, we can't contribute it definitely to the guys up on top of the roof, the snipers. Nah, we can't give them that glory. Or the police down on the ground, or even the Secret Service that jumped on top of him after the shots rang out. Then what else could it be? When you're all out of explanations, maybe you got to go to divine intervention. Was it dumb luck, or could it be Heavenly Father intervening? Let's see.
What's going through my mind now, first of all, is we heard the story of that person, an innocent, enthusiastic rally goer who was shot and killed. First, our heart goes out to them, and our condolences goes out to that family.
And then you had dummies. You had dummies trying to justify this. Well, it was all staged. Look at him. Why did his shoes come off? Why his shoes and stuff come off? Stupid stuff like that. Why didn't the people in the back just drop down and they just seemed like they all calm and stuff? Guess what? I was too. Yeah, I dipped down a little bit, but then when I thought that, okay, the coast is clear, I got right back up and people were like, let's go. And I was like, no. I'm going up there to see what's happening. I want to see if the president's okay. For some reason, I didn't feel the need to flee or anything when I didn't feel like I was in direct danger. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure they were going, what the heck is going on too? Okay, maybe a slight duck was just enough, but people were trying to say, well, just because of that, that means it was all fake. So let me get this straight. This is their logic. Now I'm gonna show you how crazy folks can be when they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And I'm gonna tell you why I think that is. Because they cannot fathom that Trump is the victim. They can't. They cannot fathom that Trump actually is not the bad guy. The folks we've been believing are the bad guys. They can't fathom that. They can't fathom how Trump should deserve any type of empathy, because then he wouldn't be the perfect evil villain. He has to deserve all of our hatred. He deserved this. He brought it on himself somehow. There's no way that Trump is the one that is the victim of all of this radicalization, all of this hate, this anger, the political violence. He can't be the recipient of this. He's the cause of it, not the recipient. So therefore, I'm going to twist my brain into a pretzel, trying to justify what happened. Some people were telling me about that, you know what, that he staged it. I said, okay, so let me get this straight. The man who's winning by a lot, word on the street, Creepy has no chance. He decides to close the deal. You know what I think we should do? Fake an assassination. Now, what I need to happen, I need a really good sniper to only hit me in my ear. Okay, I trust you. Don't hit the head, hit my ear, okay? Now, I don't care about anybody behind me, okay, because this is all about staging it, okay? If innocent bystanders get killed, go ahead. Okay, let's stage all of this so I can go even further in the polls. So now, what would be Trump's motivation for staging something like this? Nothing, because he's ahead. But I sure enough could find multiple reasons why other folks would do something like this to stop Trump. There's a whole bunch of folks that got a motive to go ahead and attempt something like this, but it ain't Trump. So was that a magical fake bullet that was CGI'd in? If y'all see that bullet that they showed going across there, yeah, the picture of it, was that a CGI bullet? I even saw somebody who had a picture of a hole in Trump's side, which some people think that he got shot there too, but the vest stopped it. So did he fake all of that? But people cannot come to grips that Trump is not the villain. They need to feed that TDS. So what are they doing? He should have got hurt, and I'm mad that they missed, and Trump faked it, and this and that, making up the stupidest ideas I've ever heard. So anyway.
But I should say this, Trace, is that I personally believe that God intervened today, not just on behalf of President Trump, but on behalf of our country. If you think about this, 1 centimeter's distance in the path of a bullet was the future of not only Donald Trump's life, but I think the life of the United States of America.
So what you're saying, Vivek, is not only did Trump dodge a bullet, but the whole country did too. I think God's not done with the country. I think God has used Trump to give us one more shot at glory so he can show his glory in America. I think he did that. Yeah, it's out of Trump's hands. It's out of the Secret Service's hands. It's out of the Democrats' hands. It's out of all of his enemies' hands. Because if Trump would have got hit, it would have been game over. This country would have went absolutely berserk as they look us in our face and try to justify what happened and try to pretend they're all sad. Folks would have went crazy. So I think God is just not done with the United States. And this happening and seeing how close it was further makes me believe that is true. And you will see what I'm talking about in a second.
Imagine what we would be talking about today were it not for a hair's length difference in the path of a bullet. And I think that that's frightening. And I think that this is a moment for us all to step back. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, voting for Biden, voting for Trump, it doesn't matter. This is a moment where if one positive thing comes out of this otherwise near tragedy, let it be this, that first of all, we saw a president, a commander-in-chief, who in his most vulnerable moment, he saw it unvarnished. He stood up, he took the fire, he took the hit, and still stood up for the people who he stepped up to represent. Donald Trump.
Iconic moment. And I know that the left, when they saw that, said, God, oh, not only did he miss, but Trump's reaction was amazing. That's a double blow. He missed, and Trump gets up and does something that inspires everybody. Even folks that might not have been a mega Trump supporter, you cannot help but to admire that strength, that courage in the face of adversity. Why would anybody in the world follow a weak, wet noodle like Creepy Sleepy in the battle? When you got somebody like Trump who took one to the head, got up and said, wait, he didn't say, save my life, I don't want to die. None of that. He got up and said, wait, throws up the fist and says, fight, he's going down in infamy. That was one of the greatest moments. And the crazy part I said yesterday, I said, I witnessed one of the best and saddest things I've ever seen, to be there on the scene when that happened. On one end, yes, it was a tragedy. Somebody lost their life. But what came out of that and how Trump responded to that was absolutely amazing. Amazing. That right there will make anybody say, man, now I will go to war with him. I would follow that man in the battle. He could have easily just laid there and crawled. He got up and threw the fist up, not once, twice, and then one more on the way into the beast. He had no idea if more shots was coming. Nothing. Yeah. And yet that's his response. It was absolutely fascinating.
Trump has given his first interview after surviving the assassination attempt at the weekend. He talked about how he's lucky to be alive, why his shoes fell off during the attack, and how the events of the weekend will change his campaign going forward. He spoke to a New York Post reporter. Let me give you some of the key things that he said, and we'll talk about them. On surviving the assassination attempt, he told the Post, the doctors at the hospital said that they'd never seen anything like this. They called it a miracle. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead.
What? Now, it's God when logical thinking doctors are lost for words. God is that point where God can do something that even the most rational, logical person who don't believe in any of these things, they only believe in what they can prove, has to come clean and say, this is a miracle. A miracle. I mean, an absolute miracle. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about guns, but the ear didn't even get blown off. That's the crazy part. He still got his ear. But this is an absolute, when doctors are saying that's a miracle, you should not be here. And I know the people who thought that he shouldn't be here, whether they had something to do with it or not, I know they wishing like, man, you mean to tell me this dude somehow turned just enough to where that bullet just hit his ear? We could have been rid of this guy. We wouldn't even be worried about Creepy Sleepy needing a step down. We could put what other rhino up there we want. Go back to fixing elections, not have to worry about any retribution from our crimes and our conspiracy to stop Trump. We would have been scot-free. Scot-free. Why is this guy still coming at us? That was our out. But somehow here he is.
By luck or by God, many people are saying it's by God, I'm still here. And Caleb and Liz, I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Had it not been for that slight turn of the head at the last moment and a couple of millimeters, we'd have a very different story this week.
To highlight the defiance of this man. Keep in mind, when he fell to the ground, all he'd done was grasp his ear and be like, oh, something's going on here. Fell to the ground. You don't actually know in those seconds. He would have been crouched on the ground going, am I shot? Where am I shot? I know that I'm bleeding. Because a lot of people, when they are shot, their first question is, am I shot? Because, of course, your adrenaline shoots through the roof. You don't know how serious it is at the time, etc., and so on.
That's true. My brother got shot twice, ran all the way home before he even knew he was shot. Unless you get shot in a vital area or something is broke to the point where you can't move, most of the time your body will suppress the pain and you will try to go to the next level of survival until, your adrenaline comes down and then you realize, like, oh God, what is this? So in the midst of that, Trump did what?
As soon as he gets to his feet, he says, wait, to the Secret Service trying to wrestle him off stage, raises his fist in defiance and mouths, fight, fight, fight. And that's what he spoke about next.
And the left, which I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, they didn't like that, y'all. They ain't like Trump getting up there saying fight, fight, fight. They wanted him to get up there and be like, oh, God, why me? Why me? So now they have to try somehow to juggle this without saying he brought it on himself, he deserves it, and we wish it would have happened. Now they got to go, we got to tread lightly while still trying to undermine the miracle that just took place. We cannot let these people get excited about what just took place. We done did everything to this man. Imagine how many people gonna go berserk knowing that something like this happened to him. And his response was like this. That's only going to encourage his base to say, yep, we bet on the right horse. Yep, we're moving forward. Yep, all of these shots and attempts to try to stop him have all failed. Yep. Now all of a sudden people who maybe wasn't even a Trump fan is like, dude, it's something about, man, hey, I might want to get on board with that because that's the type of leader that I would follow. So I know they're mad. I know they're mad. So now they got to try to find something he did wrong. Well, even though he was shot, he shouldn't have got up and threw his fist up and said, fight, fight, fight. That right there is only encouraging perhaps a retaliation of, and I'm saying, why don't y'all shut the heck up? I don't want to hear another word from any of the people who've been walking around saying this man is Hitler. And now they're talking about that. We don't want to encourage any more political violence. I don't even want to hear these people talking about, well, we're glad that he survived and we don't encourage any, all of that. Don't want to hear it.
In this interview, he said a lot of people say it's the most iconic photo they've ever seen.
Trump, he still can't. In the midst of that, he still got to go grandiose. It's the best. A lot of people are saying it's the greatest photo of all times. He's like, I still got to be Trump.
They're right. And I didn't die. Usually you have to die to have an iconic picture. I just wanted to keep speaking, but I just got shot.
Yeah, so he slid that in. He's like, yep. And so let me understand. I became iconic before I've died. This is an iconic picture that I'm actually I'm able to live and see in real time. Oh, man. So he's been immortalized before he even died. That picture will go down, man, as one of the greatest pictures of all time. And he probably had that wasn't his intent. He wasn't getting up there like, yeah, hold on, I'm going to go ahead and get a great selfie or a straight picture. No, that was in his gut. He knows what we're up against. That was his natural response to all of these things getting thrown at him. But it just happened to be iconic. And now that he's able to sit back and look at it, Trump, he's going to bathe in it a little bit. He's like, I gotta go ahead and bathe in it a little bit.
You don't get more Trump than this. Of course, the lefty media took umbrage to the fact that this had been his attitude seconds after being shot, and they're saying, "Oh, that's not the message that we think should be sent right now." What on earth other message do you want to see from the man vying for the top spot as leader of the free world, which is currently a joke? There's not much freedom going on, is there? But commander-in-chief, that is the kind of strength and dignity and fighting spirit that you want to see in a guy who's just been shot. And I dare say at the time...
Darn right! See, the left can't see that because, they got to downplay this. They know that this attempt and failure is bad for them. Now they got the weakest candidate possible. And you take our candidate who takes a shot, gets up, throws his fists up multiple times and tells us to fight. And now you got a beautiful contrast. A guy that got up there, gave a speech, I'm glad Trump is okay, and walked off shaking with his hands out like this. That guy. An earshot might have taken him out. That's how feeble creepy is. Unreal.
Again, he still didn't know what the damage was. And I dare say that was a message to everyone there and watching around the world, no matter what happens to me. From this day forward, you guys have got to continue the fight.
Because the Lord told. And now we get to something even more special. Look at this date, y'all. This ain't an afterthought prophecy. This guy's a pastor, I think, in Michigan. March 15, 2024. Now, whether you're a Christian or not, you got to be impressed with the accuracy of what this guy said God showed him about Trump. Listen to this. Now, as a Christian, I know if you claim you're a prophet, if you get out there talking about God told me you got that $3.05 in your pocket, and you reach in that pocket and you got $3.25, you're a false prophet. See, I don't be believing prophets that come out and they have vague prophecies. God said he's going to bless you. Of course, you live long enough, you're going to be blessed. If you get up to talk, God said you got money in your purse. Well, how much money? God doesn't have to be vague. If you're such a prophet, tell me how much money I got in there. Okay, but just to say, God said you got some money in your purse. Well, maybe I do. So don't get all excited when somebody says something like that. But if you say, God told me you got $17.35, and you go in there going, holy moly, do I know you? Have you been sneaking around my purse? Nope, just flew in. Maybe God is using that person. So let's see just how accurate this man, because this was in March.
Told me, he said, I am not done with America. Amen. He said, there's going to be a new wave of patriotism coming out. And that's when I saw Trump, and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan. And then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on they had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire. And they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation. And it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout.
Kind of like these polls and all of this red that's spreading across the United States in places where we are going, now, wait a minute, why are folks up in Michigan getting this and stuff? Wait a minute, New York? What? Wait a minute, you out in what is going on here? Well, I mean, I'm just wondering. Maybe God is trying to tell us something. Let's continue. Because this guy right now, maybe he's just embellishing. Maybe he's just saying, I hope that these things happen. Let's see if he gets more detailed.
Throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up. And then I saw an attempt on his life.
Uh-oh. Now, wait a minute. Now, if this was March and I was listening to him, I would be going, well, let's just see. Because I ain't going to sit back and say, this guy right here is a prophet and these things are going to happen. Whenever you hear stuff like that, you just say, well, let's just see what God does. But now we're looking at this as an afterthought. It doesn't happen. So let's see how accurate he was.
This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire.
I know I would if I just got almost killed. I would be going, when does the next time service start? I would be giving nothing but glory to God. So now let's continue.
For Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency.
I saw him winning the presidency.
Through great, the Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer, great persecution.
Great persecution, clear into the summer. Stormy Daniels, Alvin Bragg, Eugene Carroll, all of the nonsense, all of the trials, all of the fake judges, all of this persecution, great into the summer. And then what happens, mister?
Would come on him through the judges, through the law, and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and there are things.
A stop to it? What? So wait, let me get this straight. All of these attacks, all of this lawfare, okay, at some point, it just seemed to all just fall apart, all just stop, like that case that Jack Smith just got thrown out today, just came to an abrupt stop. Just like Fat Fanny's case just came to an abrupt stop. Just like that raggedy judge up in New York who was supposed to have sentenced Trump. Remember, Trump's a convicted felon that was supposed to be sentenced on the 11th or something like that. But then that immunity came forward, and he had to even go, oh crap, I can't even touch it now. All of these things seem to have just stopped. They're all getting blown up. So they all came to this fruition, and everybody was excited about it on the left. And one by one, they all just start getting blocked and knocked down.
Would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting.
What you're seeing here.
Wow. And look at that. And then to put a cherry on top, yesterday at the rally, look what happened to that flag. Now, what are the absolute chances? I don't want to get too spiritual and too deep, y'all, get all spooky. You know, I mean, everything ain't a sign. You know how some people is. Oh, shoot, that's a sign. Everything's a sign. A bird land on a tree branch. Oh, that's God speaking through the sparrow. You don't want to get that deep. But I do find this right here pretty fascinating. How in the world did this flag get tangled up to form this right here?
Here is an American flag that was flying at Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. The wind tangled it into the shape of a guardian angel before he came on stage. Take a look at this. This is a graphic.
Take a look at this. So now, could it have been divine intervention? You know, could God have been speaking and letting everybody know that this is greater than Trump? This is greater than his enemies. They're going to try to stop him, but I'm not done with America. I have, you know, made Trump for this moment in history, to the point where even maybe Trump don't realize the magnitude of how God is using him. So now that flag just happened to get tangled up perfectly into what appears to be a guardian angel. And then you have this illustration of just how close Trump came to death.
Of just how close, how infinitesimally close Donald Trump came to certain instant death.
Look at that.
I mean, we're talking literally millimeters. Forget the freaking inches talk.
So what I'm seeing in this illustration, Trump's head is at a diagonal at first, right here. If his head stays like that, that bullet goes right through the back of his skull, and we are a whole different country immediately. But at the last second, I think it was God that said, hey, Trump. I mean, it's like God said, let me turn your head right here. You know how fast bullets like that travel? That means as that bullet is coming, Trump turns his head at the last second, and it just like that. I'm telling you, man, that's enough to make somebody want to shout, get up and start. Music and all. Dang on it. So look at this. He turns his head straight at the last second.
We're talking millimeters. Had he not turned his head again just ever so slightly out of the way of that bullet.
Wow.
The catastrophe that we would have all witnessed on live television would have been more than any of us could bear.
Yep. Because I'm telling you right now, people at the rally who thought Trump was shot and killed was having a fit. They were crying. Folks like, oh God, they killed him. Oh my God, they were having a fit. A fit. I was thinking to myself during that time, like, is this our Kennedy experience? I remember my father telling me about how everybody was crying when Kennedy got shot, and people were there to see it, and they just couldn't believe it. It was like, they killed him? I can't believe it. And I was thinking to myself, is this our Kennedy moment? And to find out that Trump somehow, you know, survived, I'm telling you, I wanted to break out into a dance right there at the fair. I really did, man. And I really do believe this was divine intervention, because as you can see right here, how close he was to death. Multiple shots fired at this guy. And see, for God to really get the glory, he likes to shine in situations that seem impossible. All of these conditions that if you were a betting man would say, I'm betting that they're going to succeed. You got them missing this young man coming and climbing up on the roof. You got people trying. He wouldn't allow anybody else to intervene and take his glory. You got folks even trying to intervene and say, hey, up there, but no, I can't, even though I appreciate what they're doing, I can't let them get the glory for saving Trump's life. I can't do that. So I'm going to lay it on the mind of these folks to either be incompetent or ignore them trying to tell me that, oh yeah, you know what, Trump, yeah. Then I'm going to go ahead and I guess make these dudes up on top of it have a brain lapse and not take the shot. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put it nice and pretty together to where Trump is up there minding his business, have no idea the danger he's in. Thinking he's just doing what Trump normally does. And as he slightly turns, bam, only God can get the glory for that. Trump can't take it. Secret Service can't take it. The people trying to warn him can't take it. Only God can get the glory for that. And if the Democrats and the radical left and these globalists and the deep state was smart, they would realize this is greater than me. Maybe we need to lead this man along. Maybe this is bigger than us. But they won't, I'm sure.
Make no mistake, we were spared far more than a national trauma.
Yep.
We were spared what would have been one of the most catastrophic moments in modern politics anywhere in the world. And it may have been the event that ripped our nation apart.
It would have been. Because you got to understand, conservatives, for us to get to a point where we feel we have no other options, our back is up against the wall, it has to be that. All this time, we have sat and watched these people lie to us, cheat, steal stuff from us, spy on us, lock folks up, lie on Trump, bring up false charges, try all these indictments, and mocking us out in the open. Doing it like, yeah, we know y'all see it, so. And this whole time, we've been going, okay, but there's still a chance. Let's just wait and see. All of these things we've been watching for years. For years. Trump, Biden getting up there, Ultra-MAGA, there's greatest threat to the homeland, and this and that. All of this stuff. Trying to take it out from underneath us. And we're saying, but hey, it's okay. Because we're hoping that if Trump gets back in, we can turn this around, maybe get our country back. So we're not going to be like the radical left. We're not going to say, okay, you know what? They left us with no choice. We're going to sit back and see if the process works this all out. And if they would have taken that away from folks, especially folks that don't even have a secondary form of hope, because as a Christian, we're going, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus Christ and righteousness. Yes, it would have been devastating to see that. But at that point, I would have just concluded that maybe God is through with the U.S. Maybe that's his way of telling us that it's out of y'all hands at this point. But after seeing that, I'm going, I don't think God's done. Don't call it a comeback. There, he's been here before. So if that would have happened, the attitude across the country for anybody on the right that believes in the Constitution and saying, all right, these people took it. They took it away from us. Yeah, they knew that folks were saying, this is our shot right here. They saw the momentum building. They knew the support that he had. And they knew they had to do everything to stop it, which really to stop us. And I don't think people would have responded to that very well. I think it would have became absolutely berserk. But I really hope that God goes ahead and gives us some more grace. And I want to see how these people are going to spin this. And I will be talking about that more tomorrow because they're already doing it. They are already blaming Trump for his own attempted assassination. Yeah, his rhetoric and all of this stuff. And what about him and what he be saying?
Forever. It would have been a catastrophe of monumental proportions.
Yes, it would have.
And instead, what happened?
Tell us.
The bullet not only zipped millimeters from Trump's head, nicking his ear, but Trump rose from what would have been one of the single most dramatic events in all of modern politics, and he transformed it into the single most iconic moment of triumph and victory. He turned certain death into spectacular defiance. He turned a moment that would have torn our nation apart and transformed it into a moment when we, the people, became more united than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
This is the miracle. This is the transformative miracle we all witnessed on J13. And we have to ask, How did that miracle happen? How on earth was a catastrophic, world-altering moment transformed into the single most iconic image of triumph and victory? And again, as a trained theologian, I will tell you precisely what happened. You happened. Here's what I tweeted out that night at 6:56 p.m. Quote, make no mistake, tens of millions of prayers for this man over the last several years were the shield that protected him this day.
Hey to the men. All of those pictures of those folks in that White House, black folks too, black folks, laying hands on him. You think Creepy, who grew up in a black church, y'all? That's right. You think he would have been okay with all those black folks laying hands on him? What are they doing? Why are they touching me? They're putting black all over me. Yeah, they laid hands on Trump and they prayed for him. And many have been praying for him ever since because we can see the demonic attacks. These are uncommon attacks and hatred towards this guy. Tomorrow, I'm going to be showing clips of where people are actually getting on the internet mad at the fact that they didn't succeed in taking him out. How could you do that? Keep that to yourself, if anything. But this is where we're at. And you wonder, as a Christian, there's a prophecy in the Bible that talks about where the prophets that are preaching the gospel during the last days, once they are killed and their bodies are laid out, everybody across the globe is going to be celebrating their death. And I'm going, we're on our way. The mentality of so many people are at that point where they can hate someone so much to where if they die, they celebrate it. Nobody wants anybody to tell them about themselves anymore. Men are starting to become gods unto themselves. And they're like, we don't want to hear anybody challenge our theology. We are our own theology. And so when y'all start bringing up things that, prick our conscience, it drives us to the point where I want to see you taken out because you're a fascist, you're a white nationalist, you're a xenophobe, you're a homophobe, you're anti this, you're anti that. So society is getting to that point where they would not only just tolerate something like this happen, but they will celebrate it. And that's a dangerous time for our country and for the world. But we might have grace, but eventually it's going in that direction. But until it does, I'm going to ride this train till the wheels fall off, dog. So thank God that President Trump survived that. Oh, my goodness. You talking about holding my breath. I was out there at that fair trying to get as much information as I could, y'all. They kept jamming my signal. I'm up there like, okay, wait, what happened? What'd you see? All right, here I am again. Oh, I'm down. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me try to. Man, it was crazy. It was chaotic out there. And nobody really knew what was going on because, I even caught video footage of them working on what I believe was the guy who actually passed away. But I didn't know if that was Trump or not. Once they took him away, I couldn't see over the crowd. And, in my mind, hearing people come out and people was just saying all kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this can't be what it is. All I could think of is what is about to happen to this country at this point. But something in my gut still told me that I knew they would try something like this. I've been saying it. They've exhausted all of their resources. And God forbid they get desperate enough. And I'm not saying, when I say they, I'm not assigning this to anybody in particular. Even those that had nothing to do with this, but yet encouraged, wanted it. They use the type of lies and rhetoric that would even encourage somebody to even attempt something like this. All of those people, they want to see this happen. They would have loved for this person to succeed. And now what are they doing? Trying to say he's just a lone wolf. Don't look beyond him. Don't look for any conspirators. Just make it stop right there. I don't even trust the people with the investigation. I don't trust them. Yeah. So yeah, Sleepy better be calling Trump up, guy. You're good, right, Trump? We're friends, right? Aren't we? Okay. I don't want you to get in and start digging too much and find out. Yeah. So anyway, thank God. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I will be uploading some standalones tonight addressing some of these topics because there's just too much to cover in a live stream. So I'm going to bust it up and make standalones too. And look who done heard me start doing my wrap-up speech and came right in. I would have needed a comfort dog, big time. If that would have went the other direction, I'd have been on this market. Hold me, Gizmo. Gizmo to be like, are you okay? Pull it together, man. So anyway, hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other social media platforms. Don't forget, if you want to donate to the channel, you can. There is a link below the video to do that. I'll be back here, same time, same place tomorrow. And we shall see the reaction and the fallout from all of this as the weeks come. We'll be talking about this for a couple of days because it's an iconic moment. It really is. All right. Other than that, be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow in Cavs Corner. Let's get ready to get out of here. Don't forget, text MAGA to that number too. All right. So I'm more encouraged now than ever. This is all city. Yeah, what? Yeah. Yeah. Take care.